Still, no, okay. There's the mics. Okay, so tonight's meeting of the Compliance and Amendments Committee of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force is now in session at 4:30. Can we have the first item, please?
Item number 1, call to order, roll call, and agenda changes. Roll call. Lila Hood.
Here.
Lila Hood present. Fiona Hinsey.
Present.
Fiona Hinsey present. Chair Kanata.
Here.
Chair Kanata present. We have a quorum.
Are there any agenda changes?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Okay, great. Next item, please.
Item number 2, approval of the June 18, 2019 Compliance and Amendment Committee meeting minutes.
Any changes to the minutes? No?
No.
No changes.
Okay.
So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Can we just take them by
We
acclamation?
have to have a motion.
I motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Okay, any public comment on the motion to approve the minutes? Seeing none, let's take it by acclamation.
All right, just for the record, Lila Hood made the motion. Fiona Hinsey seconded the motion. Motion to approve the minutes of the June 18 meeting. Taken.
All right, next item.
Item number 3, public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on matters that are within the committee's jurisdiction but not on today's agenda.
Is there any public comment tonight? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Next item.
Next item, item number 4, file number 18072, hearing on the status of the order of determination. Complaint filed by Joshua Klipp against the Recreation and Parks Department for violating Administrative Code Section 6721B and E by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner. This matter was heard by the task force on April 3rd. They found violations, and this committee hearing is to make sure that Mr. Klipp is receiving all his documents.
Okay, Mr. Klipp, are you here? Come on up. Have you gotten the documents? Any documents?
I have. I am not familiar with this process. I assume this will be our last hearing on this. I hope it will be.
So if you, the issue here is to try to get you the data, the records you requested. If
Right.
you still have not gotten the records, our only next step would be, after hearing from both sides, we could send it back to the entire Sunshine Ordinance Task Force to see if there's any way to remediate the issue.
Okay. Then can I just make a statement? Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. I would just like to make a statement then, and we can take it from there once we hear from Rec and Park. Because I personally really hope this is the last time I'm here. Here's what I want to say. So I started this process in good faith. When I asked Rec and Park for 10 years of these documents and for the reforestation plan, I assumed that they would have these things because for the last 10 years they have submitted this data to the Urban Forestry Council. So of course I thought they would have supporting documentation for the data that they submit, which goes into an official city report. And as for the reforestation plan, according to their own strategic plan, they aim to plant 2 trees for every one they remove. So I thought there must be some supporting documentation. That's what I thought. My experience of this whole process has been like pulling teeth. Over and over again, I've had to go back and ask again and again. And what we all ultimately learned was that they don't have it. San Francisco Rec and Park keeps no records on removals and plantings. Whatever it was they submitted to the Urban Forestry Council for those urban forest reports, it was essentially spitballing it, which in 2019 is sort of unbelievable that City Hall allows a major department like this to operate like that. So while the Amazon burns and the world laments, Rec Park doesn't keep track of its trees. Additionally, this procedural exercise has been kind of a nightmare. After I filed my original complaint to the task force, I almost missed my hearing date because the notification was sent to some other email address. And had I not taken the initiative to follow up, I wouldn't even have been at the first hearing. And at that first hearing, Rec Park sent an employee who, despite her best intentions, didn't know a thing about this. And the task force had to ask Rec Park to send somebody who did. I'll also note that at that first hearing, Rec Park asked the task force to accept a corrected version of the response to my complaint because they accidentally submitted a redlined version. That redlined response was actually fairly enlightening. And at the time that Rec Park asked this task force to accept the corrected version, the task force assured me The original red line version would still remain a part of the record, but if you look at tonight's record, you won't see it there. I have no idea why it's not there, but I encourage you to amend your record to include it as you promised to do, and you can find that in the original hearing record at pages 299, 8, and 99. And while we're
What pages?
pages 298 and 299. I think if you go by the PDF, it's somewhere around page 30. Well, while we're speaking about records, I'd also like to, again, ask that the record not continue to iterate that I have said Rec Park fabricated records, because I have not said that. And I asked this to be corrected at the last hearing, and I would respectfully request that it be corrected again. It keeps showing up in the official record, and I do not believe that, so I'm not sure why that is in there. So after that initial hearing, it's taken another half a year to get someone for Rec Park to make someone available for the second hearing before the entire task force. And at that hearing, it was in that Rec Park acknowledged it didn't have responsive documentation. At that hearing, the task force was finally able to rule, and it held not only that Rec Park needed to go back and look again, but that it violated the law by taking too long to get back to me in the first place. So here we are, a year after I made my information request to Rec Park for documents that it seemed naturally they would have. It's been a year of frustration, bureaucratic bungling, and ultimately me as a citizen feeling like if I don't press this issue over and over again, it won't get done. It's been exhausting and a tremendous lift for me in terms of my time and energy, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. But that said, I really want to thank you for the work that you do, because it seems to me it's generally a thankless job. Having sat through a few of these hearings now, I am profoundly grateful for your dedication, intellect, curiosity, and tenacity. Regardless of my experience with the process, I'm really glad it exists, and that all of you continue to do this yeoman's work. We live in a time where transparency and governance has never been so important, and this applies in all aspects, big and small, and I'm grateful for what you do here. I also want to thank Rec and Park, because at least they came up here and admitted that the way they manage their urban trees is inadequate. At least they recognize that they need to change what they're doing and are apparently taking some steps to make that happen. One of the steps they're going to take is going before the Urban Forestry Council this fall to talk about their approach to tree management and answer the council's questions on that. I'm glad they're doing it, and I look forward to that meeting. Finally, with regard to the documents Rec Park has produced, they are what they are. I have no way of knowing if there's anything else. Looking at what's been produced, it's fair to say that in a city with the worst canopy of any major city in the United States, that's just declared a climate emergency, we can and must do better than that. We can't claim to be stewards of the environment while wholly failing to live up to those words. Study after study has shown that trees are one of our greatest allies in the fight for climate change and the battle for environmental resilience. What we do today will reverberate for decades to come and may ultimately decide whether this city is habitable or whether it is not. I didn't start this process to throw darts at Rec Park. I started it because I care about our environment and the future of this planet. This process has shown a light on Rec Park's practices and failure to act in a way that understands the critical role our city trees play in making this city a healthy, safe place to live. In response to these proceedings, my sincere hope is that Rec Park seizes this moment to become a model of urban canopy management, that rather than fail to document, they have a thorough, transparent tree management system so that every time a tree comes down, they've got two ready to go, and they know exactly where to plant it, when to do it, how to fund it, and how to take care of it. I hope Rec Park sees this as a turning point where they can come together and say, we need to do this, we can do this, and we will do this. Our planet is out of time. While we can't stop the fires in the Amazon, but we can do a lot better for the forests right outside our door. And I hope Rec Park chooses to embrace trees for the climate guardians they are, and do all they can to make this city and our world a better, more climate resilient place for the citizens of today and for years to come.
Thank you. Is Rec Park here? So it seems like there are no more responsive records. Is that what I'm hearing? And
we have provided to Mr. Klipp the documents that.
Excuse me, sir, I need your name.
Beg your pardon?
Your name?
Dennis Kern, Kern, Director of Operations, the San Francisco Recreation and Park. So the task.
yes, we didn't time the complainant, so we're not going to time Mr. Kern.
Thank you.
Sir.
The task force requests us to go back and look for additional documents, which we did, and we have provided to Mr. Klipp our work orders that we receive from our staff for tree work, including removals and prunings. We provided the inventory from our Golden Gate Park nursery that shows the inventory of trees grown in-house, propagated, and then turned over to staff for planting. We provided from 2009 all the 311 requests that we have received that have tree issues in the subject line, fallen trees, work needed, and we have also provided a look back at our capital projects where we have renovated park property where trees have either been removed and or planted. And so all those documents have been provided to Mr. Klipp.
Okay, thank you. And you have anything else to say, to add?
Not really.
Okay.
Just that, these are the documents we provided per the request of the commission. Mr. Klipp is not incorrect in that we are working on continuous improvement of our tree management practices.
Okay, thank you. Any questions up here?
No.
Okay, so it seems to me that that the order of determination has been complied with as best as Rec and Park can. So we should just close this out. Cheryl, do we need a motion and a vote to close this item?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so
I will motion to close this item.
Second.
okay. Any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's have a vote, please.
Member LaHood?
Aye.
Member LaHood, aye. Member Hensy?
Aye.
Member Hensy, aye. Chair Canada?
Aye.
Chair Canada, the motion to close the item passes. Thank you very much.
you. Okay, next item.
Item number 5, file number 18049, hearing on the status of the order of determination, complaint filed by Robert M. Smith against the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco for violating Administrative Code Section 6721 by failing to respond to a request for public records in a timely and/or complete manner.
Okay, Mr. Smith, have you received stuff? Yeah, let's do 5 minutes. The last time I
And the
forgot.
microphone. Yeah. Thank you.
The easiest thing to do is, can you hear me, is show you what I have gotten. The short answer is I've gotten some stuff. You recall the museum said they had 450,000 documents for just 2 months, and so compliance would not be possible. That number, they said, would shrink to 70,000 if I agreed to limit city employees. It turned out almost all their employees are not city employees, so I didn't limit it. Then they moved from 250,000, $250,000, to 125,000. Too burdensome, they said, impossible. Then they moved to 70,000. Then they moved to 35,000. Finally, it turned out the number they said they had was 11,000. Then they said they had 200 or 300 still that they couldn't turn over without review by the city attorney's office, and I've now gotten purportedly those couple of hundred. Okay, so what haven't I gotten? I asked for documents initially referring to the docent program. They said the docents are a separate entity, and they're not turning them over. You told them, no, that's not the way it is after you'd heard evidence about what the program is and where it is. So they've given me basically 0 documents about the docents despite that. Then they said they would provide only FAM-SF documents, museum documents, not COFAM, the managerial entity, even though they share their servers, emails, and so on. You said, no, that's not going to do it either. Now, I don't know. I have no way of knowing whether they've given me any COFAM documents or all COFAM documents. They're the important ones since the COFAM runs the museum. They're still redacting, and I mean redacting heavily, so heavily, even though you've told them about legal restrictions. You have told them about legal restrictions and procedures. So let me just give you a sample quickly. I'm afraid it still has my computer stuff around it, but there you are. Now, if you can make heads or tails out of this sample, I invite you to do so. That's about the best I'm going to do on this. Yeah, but I guess you have it on your computers. I don't know. The point is that the whole text is taken out of it, right? And what are we doing here? And if you think that's just idiosyncratic, or episodic, here's another little sample. How would you like that document if you had to parse it? You can't. It's impossible. And then we have this, which is within the museum from Sheila Presley to Shirley Castillo, I don't know, Castillo perhaps. And there it is. And for some reason, the subject is deserving of redaction. Why would the subject be deserving of redaction? Under what rule could that possibly be? Same thing on another one. I'm just running through these because there are actually so many of them. Here's a whole paragraph at the bottom, for some bizarre reason, from a curator, which simply isn't there. And then we have another one. It says, what do you think? But unfortunately, the two paragraphs that he's asking about, or she, are completely blacked out. So I don't know what anybody thinks, frankly. And that, I could show you more, but I'll skip them. This is very interesting, at least to me. It says, before I put it down, along with other curators, I share the concern Karen expressed yesterday regarding the use of the Wattis Fund, financial fund, right? This is interesting. Somebody internally is concerned about the use of a fund. Okay, what does it say? Well, I don't know what it says because it's all been blacked out. Are you getting the idea, folks? I hope so. I could show you a lot more like these, but I don't have the time to do it. And then this is very interesting and may help you in your role, which is important. The San Francisco City Attorney's Office is guiding them in this, they say, right? And so the city attorney has apparently told them that they are a charitable trust department. 30 seconds, is it? Charitable trust department. Whoops, why isn't this showing? Oh, gee, I want you to see this.
Here it is.
But anyway, it says charitable trust department, and therefore they don't have to provide the material because they're a charitable trust department. Of what? Of the city and county of San Francisco. So I took the advantage of the citation and looked up this thing that says they're a charitable trust department. It doesn't say anything about their being exempt from this or any other law. They're still a city agency. I apologize for going slightly over. I could show you more. I hope I've given you an idea of what's going on here.
Thank you. Okay, do we have the respondent? Please come on up. So before you even begin, all those redactions, are they cited as to why they're being redacted?
Yes, Mr. Smith was provided with a log of the redactions.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so now we'll put the timer on. You can have your 5 minutes, and then we'll discuss this.
Oh, and I'm Megan Bourne from Fine Arts Museums. Yes, Mr. Smith was provided with a log of redactions and a description of every redaction, what the nature of the matter was, to explain why it was redacted.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have you don't need to give us a statement or anything, and we should just ask you questions right now. Is that?
I can make a statement just regarding the, our input to the committee is that FAMSF has provided the documents to Mr. Smith in the time period set by the Compliance and Amendments Committee. Mr. Smith received the documents by the deadline of July 15th. I'm sorry, I just jumped right into the redactions complaint.
Okay, what about the docent program, which Mr. Smith said he doesn't have any information on? Are there documents regarding that?
Well, Mr. Smith's original request was for documents pertaining to the docent program. The docent program is managed by COFAM, the nonprofit, not by FAM, the city agency. After that response, Mr. Smith went on to request all email correspondence among COFAM, Fine Arts Museums, and the Foundation. So he greatly expanded his request, and then it went into another realm because that was a very large request, and we asked him to narrow it down to something, and he ended up narrowing it down to a 6-week period, and that still was a universe of 450,000 emails to try to sort out what was FAM, what was COFAM, and what was the Foundation. And ever since then, we have been trying to work with Mr. Smith and with the task force to zero in on what he is after, and to try to satisfy his requests.
I guess I have questions for Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Regarding the redaction log, did the redactions, when you saw the redaction log and saw the redactions, did you feel as though this explained what was removed from the emails?
No, I'm sorry that if I had known this was going to come up, I would have 3 or 4 or 5 sheets of their citations, which they again say or state the city attorney's office gave them. But it's hopeless if it just says private or email address, or that one I get. But I mean, you cannot get a principled, reasoned understanding of what they've done on that page with the Wattis Fund. That's a good one. How can they explain those concerns internally about the use of funds? The answer to your question is really no, and I'm sorry I can't show you, but I can't. I mean, at this moment.
I don't have any more questions right now, so it doesn't seem like Mr. Smith is getting what he really wants.
Right.
I have a hard time believing that there's no information on the docent program. Even though COFAM is a not-for-profit, still the city department should act as an intermediary to go to the not-for-profit under Rule 12L and get information.
And they're depending on them to provide these services, so they should know what services are being provided. So there should be information on the city
So,
side.
I mean, I don't know if this...
May I just also remind you of the beginning of this, because it's been so long. In my mind, they've dragged it out. They share the same computer system, the same emails, the same servers, and everything. Now, how can you possibly make the argument that some of these are some entities and not the others? The whole thing doesn't hold up for an instant.
Yeah, so I don't know what else to do except send it back
up to the task force.
Up to the task force to see if there's any willful violations or any type of other remedy to try to get this information, because it's been over a year, the whole thing.
Oh, she wants to.
Sure, come on up.
So regarding the redactions, in a previous hearing, Mr. Wolf advised Mr. Smith that he should articulate which redactions he has concerns about and ask us to address them. So I'm just...
Yeah, okay. And Mr. Wolf may have stated that just seems like putting the entire onus on the complainant, where it's the city's department's responsibility to provide public records. So, okay, so...
Could I also speak to the 12L? It was the opinion of the city attorney who is assigned to the task force that COFAM does not receive funding from the city and county of San Francisco. So therefore, 12L does not apply. So
Okay, so, all right, so thank you. I mean,
and
yeah.
if I could just make one more point regarding the Mr. Smith's not understanding or concern about us being FAM being a charitable trust department. As a charitable trust department, FAM has authority under the charter to engage with a not-for-profit to help support it. So he was wondering about the authority, and that is the authority. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks, okay, so,
But and actually, I have not looked this up. Are you familiar with this? About no, 12L I understand, but the charitable trust department, it doesn't exempt them then from.
yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but I wouldn't think that a city department can do business with a charitable trust, and that charitable trust is exempt from every rule. Otherwise, every city department would have a charitable trust doing their business, and there would be no transparency. So,
The FAM is the charitable trust
right, that's fine. So, I'm just thinking we send it back up.
Unfortunately, I think we.
Yeah, I don't
we
think
need
there's
to.
any other
Yeah.
thing to do, in an effort to get Mr. Smith some more responsive information, but, so.
I motion that we send this back to the full task force.
Second.
All right, any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's have a vote.
Hang on. Member LaHood?
Aye.
Member LaHood, aye. Member Hinsey?
Aye.
Member Hinsey, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. Motion to send this matter back to the task force is passed.
All right, let's have the next one.
Item number 6, file number 18083, hearing on the status of the order of determination. Complaint filed by Robert M. Smith against the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco for allegedly violating Administrative Code, Section 6721, by failing to respond to a request for public records in a timely and/or complete manner.
Okay, so before we give you some time, and Cheryl, can you reset the timer? How, is this different, and how is it different from this last item?
It will make what you just heard even clearer and, dare I say, worse. It's very clear what I'm going to show you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what I asked for, it's very simple. All documents from January 2016 to the present relating to the financing of the Contemporary Muslim Fashions exhibition. Couldn't be any simpler in my mind, right? What they have not provided. I haven't got any documents relating to financing. Ledgers, receipts, acknowledgments of contributions, accountings, inflows, outflows, financial analysis, list of donors, amounts, records of expense for travel, and so on. All of these things they must have to satisfy tax law, if nothing else, right? And they've given me none, almost none. They're available to them because they're legally required to be maintained. Therefore, one can only conclude, no kidding, that it's absolutely intentional, whatever reason it could there be. So I wanted to show you, if I may, the providers are blacked out of whatever they got. I mean, not everything. Look, just by way of example, I haven't got enough time to show you them all. They've taken out where they got the stuff. Same thing, if you think I'm kidding.
So before you take that note, put that one back on.
Yeah.
So what are the non-highlighted items?
They are providers. They are, B&J Creations.
So if I understand correctly, some of the providers are there and some of them are redacted.
Yes, but even as to those, you'll see in a minute what they've done. I mean, the ones where you actually have a name. And remember, this stuff came through customs. Therefore, values are assigned. This isn't some kind of guessing game. More on the provider front. There are more. I'll skip. I don't have time. So we've got value. The next issue is where'd you get it from? And how much did it cost? What are these things worth? All the values are taken out, even though they had to declare these items. They know the items, value, and they blacked it out. Now, why would you black out the values? How could that possibly be? look at this one, which is very clear. It says value, and they blocked it out. Now, why? How could you do that? I don't know. So a contract has actually been provided. There's more on the value. I just don't want to bore you, but just take my word for it. I have more. There's another value blacked out. All right. Then they have the goal. Sorry, not polite. They gave me a fragment of a contract. If you read this, it says at the bottom, you can barely see it about everything they blacked out, agreement. You know, terms of agreement, standard, legal boilerplate I won't bother you with. But, so here's the agreement. Where's the rest of this agreement? And why is all the signature, the contracting party, which is the other side and the museum, blacked out? How can that possibly be? They're giving me a contract and they're blacking out who entered into it. Who is the contractor? What's the matter? Oh,
Microphone.
sorry. Yes, I'm sorry if, here's more of it. Here's another one, dated carefully, and the contractor is left out. When I say contractor, I mean the person at the museum who entered into this. What are they, afraid to take responsibility? They're required by law to. And then the address of a contractor. See this incoming loan agreement. The museum requires that somebody sign the agreement. Well, we know this is Saudi Arabia at last. Why? Because we know Dina, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, Al-Juhani Abdul Aziz is the contracting party because the name is there. But everything else is blacked out. What's her address? I don't care if it's the Royal Palace, but it's got to be somewhere, and they have no right to withhold it. None. Here are some more items that are deleted, and I have no idea why these items from the exhibition were deleted. All of a sudden, they're black, literally blacked out. And there's unexplained deletions like this one. And then we know it's Saudi Arabia because, again, which is why I put in this in the first place. 30 seconds? Got to go faster. Okay, so who gave what, lent, or sold? We don't know. How much was involved? We don't know. How could they withhold the contract? We don't know. Why don't I have any financial documents? I'm entitled to them. We don't know.
Thank you. All right, the complainant again, please.
And a respondent.
Oh, I mean respondent, I'm sorry. Say it's late and I'm tired.
The Fine Arts Museum's response is that Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco has complied with the order of the task force. Again, regarding the redactions, Mr. Smith has a redactions log that indicates the nature of the redactions, whether it's somebody's personal email address, personal home address, whether it is a business, proprietary business practice. The reasons for those were indicated in there. And again, if Mr. Smith were to, submit these and ask in particular, we could give a better response. But we documented the reasons. He has a log, and again, Mr. Wolf advised that he specify which ones he has concerns about and ask us for those.
Okay. I'm inclined to do the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, are you able to tell us, so for example, with the list of providers, clearly some of those were given and then some were redacted.
If I could see actually the document, I could see.
Mr. Smith, do you mind
I'm
sharing?
not sure that providers is even the right term.
Actually, yeah, if you could tell
Yeah.
us what the correct
That was
term is.
his writing.
So I guess my question is, what distinguishes the ones that the museum was okay with revealing and versus the ones that were not acceptable?
With the incoming loans, this is a representative example of the logic. Is the address of the contractor is this person's personal home address, and in the long list of, I think he's actually referring to lenders to the exhibition. The ones whose addresses were shown were commercial enterprises or lenders who agreed to be publicly recognized as lenders. Lenders do sometimes request anonymity, and so we did not disclose those names. And if we, we would have to change our practice and let people know in advance that they would have to disclose their name publicly in order to lend to an exhibition. But we do not do that. And again, that comes through COFAM, not through FAM. But that's the reason for this one.
So that's someone loaned an item to be displayed, and this is your practice in
These were
all
garments.
exhibits? Right.
Yes, garments, paintings, sculptures.
And this was not a special practice for this exhibit?
No.
So the redaction of addresses, you're saying contractors, they're doing business with the city, right? So how is it a private address?
They're
No,
not
she
doing
said
busy
these
with
were
this.
people loaning pieces.
They're not contractors, excuse me. They're not contractors, they are lenders. So say we put on an exhibition and we borrowed works of art from each one of you, you are lenders to the exhibition.
Okay.
Do we receive any payment for lending the items to the exhibition?
Absolutely not.
Thank you, guys. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
I can see, in this case, I can see sort of some of the reasons, but I'm still not comfortable closing it out. What do you guys think? I mean,
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. I can see it, but I sort of want more eyes and ears on it.
Yeah, could we talk to Mr. Smith? Could I ask one more question?
May I just say, it doesn't matter whether you get something or not. If you do business with the city, if you have a relationship with the city, that fact is a matter of public knowledge by law. So if I lend them something, they have to disclose it if asked. And if they're not now telling people that that's the fact, they should, just the same way that you in all of your announcements and the Board of Supervisors and all of it says, if you talk with us, we need to tell everybody you've done so. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Oh, my question was...
I apologize.
No, that's okay. So you were uncomfortable with the redactions of these, providers, lenders, whatever we call them, but also the addresses. Were there other specific categories?
Value.
Value.
There isn't a single value provided, even though they had to tell the United States Customs Service, or whatever it's now called, and the taxing authorities what the value is. What are they afraid of?
Thank you.
yeah.
That's a good question. Maybe that more than I see points on both sides, and I think you're right that perhaps we need to have a full discussion on this.
Yeah, I mean, I hate sending it back up and clogging
Right.
the agenda,
Yeah.
but I'm not comfortable settling it,
Yep.
okay?
Agreed.
We have a motion. We'll
I'll move. I'll move to send this one back up to the full task force.
I'll
for
second.
further hearing.
Any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's have the vote.
Member Hensy?
Aye.
Member Hensy, aye. Member LaHood?
Aye.
Member LaHood, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. The motion is sent back to the task force. Passes.
Okay. Next item.
Item number 7, file number 18012, hearing on the status of the order of determination. Complaint filed by Denton Tedeschi against Lori Mazzola, City Hall Building Management for violating Administrative Code Section 6713A by failing to allow access to a meeting of a policy body.
Okay, Mr. Tedeschi. Before you start, I'm assuming that you haven't been able to get into the building with your service animal.
That is correct.
Okay. Then you have 5 minutes, please.
Okay, I'd like to show you what happened.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Sure. I'd like to, this is Dante Tedessa. I'd like to show you what happened when I tried to enter with Rosie off leash since the last time we spoke. Actually, a little bit before that. This is a video of exactly what happened. Try to.
It's unmuted, so you can go ahead.
Baby, let's walk. We'll see. On the right.
Yeah, we can't see it. I can hear it.
Is it,
It's on that one right now. It shouldn't be on that one. It should be on the computer.
I know.
All right, now it's.
Okay. It's unmuted, so go ahead.
Rosie. Up. Hello.
How are you?
Good.
I do not. She's under voice control. She's a service animal. Non-violent protection and safety.
Okay, give me just a second, okay?
Okay. Hey, baby. Yep. Sit.
You can take your time. Take your time.
That's okay. I kind of want to see up on this stage.
She's within, not even 2 feet of me all the time.
Okay, stand by, sir.
And so here, I've already said that she's a service animal. I've already said that nonviolent protection is a task that she's providing, and automatically, right there, it should be a violation because I have to wait for the watch commander to come down. The same guy who has had his hand on his gun, about to shoot Rosie, and God knows what, in previous incidents. So why in the world?
My supervisor, because I haven't been here for a while, so we're just checking the status.
So they're checking the status. They're always checking the status. So they're going to bring the same guy who's been at the November 7th task force meeting when I left this meeting, and
the task that she provides me.
and they had her on a chokehold.
Determination. I'm on a determination against the sheriff's department to let me through. And you're not letting me through.
Sorry, sir, give me just a second. Just follow the protocol.
Okay. So if they follow the directive that they said that or they're going to tell you that they are, then this shouldn't happen. She should be trained on it. And notice now this there's going to be a completely unsolicited remark by one of the employees here, and he remarks on how Rosie is actually a real service animal. He says, "You'll hear it."
Yeah, so one of my supervisors are going to come up here and then he'll have a word with you.
It should be very easy. Yes or no? I mean, why am I having to
He's going to give the final say.
Okay. He can't tell me. He can't tell you, or he can't.
I'm just following messages.
Okay. All right.
Now just notice what he says.
I think that's the first time I've seen a real service dog in the building. I see a lot of dogs at the desk. You can sure tell when it's been trained.
You can sure tell when it's a real service animal. That's what he said.
Can I move this?
So now that guy, the sergeant in charge,
Fine, come on in.
he mentions me through. I'm very happy at this point. I'm like, great. So I'm walking through. We're walking to the elevators. And he's gonna notice.
What do you call it? A little tactical vest there?
He says her vest is a tactical vest. I don't know what. I don't say a word. It's just creepy that he's behind me. I've had all these incidents with this same guy over and over again.
Wait. I feel comfortable with you guys in the.
We're going to escort you up to wherever you're going. I'm letting you know that now.
Escort me.
That's things after that.
No, I don't feel like.
That is our instruction as of right now. So we're not going to stay with you.
So you're gonna follow me everywhere
No,
I
we're
go.
just going to follow you to wherever your destination.
No, I'm sorry. That's unacceptable.
Okay, that's fine.
That's a denial of me.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you. I tie Rosie outside.
Hey, baby.
Sure, that's fine. Okay.
So this is me coming to Rosie after I did my business. They have circled her. It's almost as if they are inducing her to start barking at them. I don't know. Like, I mean,
This is your dog?
I don't say a word.
Is this your dog right here?
Goodbye.
Take care. Have a great day.
I have one more. This is This was November 7th of last year.
Yeah, but, okay, so
What was the date of our?
that was before. I don't think we need to see
Yeah,
that one because that was before. I think
So-
this one speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay. I'd like to also add the following. Section 351, I'm sorry, Section 35.136 of the Title II of the ADA says this about service animals. A public entity shall make reasonable modifications in policies, practices, or procedures when the modifications are necessary to avoid discrimination on the basis of disability, unless the public entity can demonstrate that making the modifications would fundamentally alter the nature of the service or program. That's it. They haven't shown that Rosie's out of control. They haven't shown any good reason to have me followed. Sure, they'll let me through the gate, but they're going to follow me through the whole building. Like, cameras are not enough. It's unacceptable. What is happening is unacceptable. It goes back to all my complaints. They're supposedly following what the city attorney tells them. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed from that April 2018 memo that Mr. Lee of the city attorney's office penned. Nothing's changed. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, I was on a minibus, and this time I had bags. Rosie is the same way. She's quiet. She's a good, such a good dog. And the bus driver has everybody exit. I wait for the cops to come. I'm like, oh, here we go again. The cops come, and you know what? The cops were actually very, very professional. They were nice. They actually said they know about this. They know about this change. They said that the driver is wrong. They just said that, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. We got a call saying that there's a vicious dog on board. That's what's happening to me over and over and over and over again. How many times do I have to,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so this one is against the building management. Is there a respondent from building management here? There's not.
All right.
Okay, so my recollection of this was twofold, because the next one is Mr. Tedeschi against the Sheriff's Department. At the last hearing, the Sheriff's Department said they were training everybody and would be a week or two at the most before all the people were trained. Building management, just the fact that Mr. Tedeschi and his dog had to wait, I don't know, it seemed like an agonizing 10 minutes or so, but before they let him through, because they had to check with supervisors, that doesn't sound like anybody was trained. So for 18012, I think we send it back with willful violation. This is to me, this is crazy.
Yeah,
I'll move.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion to send this back to the full task force with a willful violation of building management. Cheryl, are they supposed to be here, or is it optional?
No, they're supposed to be here. I had sent,
Okay.
along with everybody
Yep.
else,
So
the agenda to Lori Mazzola, who is building management.
I would also then add a recommendation of a violation to not send a knowledgeable representative then,
Right.
if they're supposed to be here.
Right. Okay. So we have a motion. Is there any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's have the vote.
Member Hansy?
Aye.
Member Hansy, aye. Member LaHood?
Aye.
Member LaHood, aye. Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. The motion passes.
Okay, let's do the next one.
Okay, just a second. Item number 8, file number 18028, hearing on the status of the order of determination. Complaint filed by Denta Tedeschi against the Sheriff's Department for violating Administrative Code Section 6713A by failing to allow access to a meeting of a policy body.
Okay, Mr. Tedeschi, let's time this one at 5 minutes.
sure.
Is this the same incident that this is?
No. This just speaks to everything that's happening in
Yes,
both
set
of
the
them.
timer for 5.
Yeah. So this is again. This speaks to what I'm having to deal with SFMTA, with my housing, with everything else. So this was actually dealing with back on April 24th. I had a court stay to my place of residence. I had a judge sign. I paid the rent, and I came to City Hall to show the sheriff's office this paperwork, and this is what happens. To 456 sheriff's deputies. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
So I will.
She is under control. You will not come in the building.
Then you need to find someone at that office to come
You want to come into the building,
downstairs.
sir, to serve those paperwork.
Look,
the dog needs to be on a leash.
No, I am not.
Yes. That is from
then
the
you need
mayor's
to.
office of
You need,
disabilities.
and they are wrong. And they are wrong.
And that's
I
something
need
that you have to take up with them.
I know. What I'm saying is, this is a judicial order. I'm trying to get process served to the sheriff's office.
I hear you.
I have to get this paperwork
I
done.
understand exactly
And if
what
I
you're
don't get it done, I'm going to be evicted.
Okay.
So this is what you're doing. Is not only are you refusing me service, you are denying me.
I am not refusing you any service.
Yes, you are.
So
Yes,
what's
you are.
happening is
I am
have
telling
a
you.
choice.
I don't have a choice. No, I'm not. I am not going to because for my safety, I choose not to.
Okay, for our safety in the building.
She has done nothing.
Okay.
She has done nothing to affect your safety or other people's safety. She is just. As you see, right there,
let me stop
she's
you
being
there.
there right now.
If you look at this,
is wrong.
Okay,
This
that's your opinion,
is
sir.
wrong. No,
that is coming from the mayor's office.
and I'm telling you,
of disabilities.
And I'm telling you, it's.
Okay.
I have a right to be in this building. You either need to call. You need to.
far
Okay,
as I'm concerned-
so fine. Please accommodate me.
we're not
Do a
gonna
reasonable accommodation. Okay,
And
I'm
what's
making.
that?
I'm making.
Reasonable
I am
accommodation
making
would
a.
be
I am making. No, I am making a reasonable accommodation for you
there, sir.
to get me the sheriff's office from 456 to come down here in order for them to receive this paper. I have very important paperwork
Wait
to
for
give
you
them.
to file the paperwork.
Listen,
Put the dog
I'm being instructed by the court to come down here, give the paperwork to the sheriff's office,
into the building,
and I am
sir.
telling you,
In order to enter the building.
that is the reason.
This is right here.
I am telling you, you need to give me a reasonable accommodation to get someone there. I'll wait here. I'll wait here with her. I will not enter. I need you to get someone down here then that will get it.
For you.
I want that person right now. Please, I need to give this paperwork.
Don't make demands like
I
that.
need to make a delivery of very important paperwork regarding my eviction at my place of I live, which is directly. Listen,
right here.
Can you please call someone from 456, room 456?
And I told you I would.
Please do that. I'll wait here.
Okay, I will do that for you.
I will wait here.
Okay.
Sit.
I will be right back. I'm gonna make a phone call.
Wow.
The very next day, I waited for the sheriff's office just in case to just make sure that they're not going to come with the, I waited. Well, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, so I said, you know what, they're not going to come. I left to go to Pete's Coffee. I came back. I was locked out. I have been locked out ever since. I couldn't even get my belongings, for God's sake. Now that is what is dictating all of this. That has it has a history. To this day, I haven't had access to my things. How crazy is that? This is unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. The frustration, the anger that you hear in my voice there was just built up. I'm normally very, very respectful. I'm normally, that's what's happening.
Thank you.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, representative from the Sheriff's Department. So
Hello. Let me introduce myself. I'm Captain Kelleher, William Kelleher, and on behalf of Sheriff Vicki Hennessy.
Okay. Were you the officer here who promised that everybody was going to be trained in a week or two back in, was it April? When was the
February.
February.
I was here. I didn't make any promises. I did everything that I said I was going to do.
Then why wasn't he allowed in the building with the dog off leash?
He chose not to enter the building, as you saw by the video.
No, he was not allowed to enter the building unless the dog was leashed.
Okay, so this is the second one we're talking about.
Yeah, right. This is the one we just saw.
Yeah, because originally that was a pilot program. After that, we met with city stakeholders, the city administrator's office, deputy city attorney's office, sheriff's legal, and the sheriff. And the determination was made that that dogs do not come in unleashed unless there is a task or a service they're providing.
Right, and the determination of if that task or service provided requires the dog to be off leash is the individual who owns the dog, not the sheriff's department, sir.
That's your opinion. Deputy city attorney, the city attorney's office, city administrator's office has a different opinion, and we are abiding by their guidance on this issue. If there is a reasonable accommodation process that can be followed, I'm not here to speak on that. I'm just here to speak on behalf of the Sheriff's Department.
Okay. And do you have any other statements?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm disturbed that this is a pilot program. We weren't told that this was going to be a pilot program. We were told that this was now going to be the sort of the law of the land here.
Exactly.
I have a question for Mr. Tedeschi. Can you tell us what date was the video that you just showed us? When was that taken?
That last one was for the eviction. That was April.
No, I need, yes. Yeah, so what date?
That was April 24th, 2018.
Okay. That was 2018. We're in 2019, and our order was made.
The first one that you saw, the one that you saw them letting me through, but then now they're going to follow me.
Okay, what was the date of that one?
That was I believe that was just a month ago.
Okay, so it was after.
Yes.
So you actually showed us that building related to building management. To the building management case, but it pertains to
everything pertains to everything.
I just want to make sure that we're considering the correct videos.
Yes,
because what we're considering now is whether compliance with the order has happened since the order.
I want you to consider the first video, the one that they actually let me through. They let me through the gates. Fine, that's great. I was very I was kind of surprised, but then they're following me.
Right.
And so following me is unacceptable to me. That is not compliance to that. I want to be treated as anyone else. I want to be treated as the regular public, as I should. I have a legitimate service animal. I have complied with the law. I have done everything I'm supposed to. She has a California Assistance dog tag that is only given to service animals, service, signal, or guide dogs. That's it. That is it. I have that tag. She has that tag.
Yeah, we understand that. We understand that.
Well, you understand that, but the city attorney's office does not understand that and refuses to acknowledge that and refuses to. They are. I mean, this is. Right. It's really not the sheriff in a way. It's a city attorney's office, and what they're doing is wrong. They obviously think I don't have a legitimate service animal. End of story.
So I have a question for the sheriff's representative, please.
And then I have a question for him too.
So I didn't realize that the video we saw in this case was prior to what we determined for the prior video. He was allowed in, even though it took a while for him to get in. What is the reason for having somebody following him when the dog is a legitimate service animal under voice command with absolutely no issues?
Well, the issue on that was that there would be a video. The supervisors have body-worn cameras. They could document any issues or non-issues so we could share it with our city partners. So either if If there is a problem, we could share it as a problem, or if there's no problem, we could share that as well. So it is video documentation that only our supervisors have at this time.
Okay. All right, thank you. So, I mean, compliance on this one, since the order was done, they did let him in.
Right, so there's some improvements, but not complete
improvement. I didn't like the wait time, but I don't know, I don't know how, what I'm feeling is that this should go back just, maybe the issue of the sheriffs wanting to follow him are taken up in 18028.
I have another, I'm going to ask you this question, or we can bring the sheriff's representative back up. Aren't there cameras in the hallways? Do you mind coming back up again, so we have this on the record? Thank you. Do you have access to the cameras that are recording everything that's happening in the hallways and in the meeting rooms in this building?
We have access to cameras. There are spots that do not have cameras. There's no cameras in here. There's no cameras in a lot of places. But we do have access to cameras, and we do have access to them in live time. In order to get the recordings, we have to go through media services to get the recordings.
So for live time, it's for active monitoring of what's going on in the building at the time, and then if you wanted to refer to that, you would have to request it.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm uncomfortable with a person being followed I'm uncomfortable with the person being followed for no reason that I could see. I don't know if that pertains to this issue here, 18028, because we didn't have the compliance order in for that video. That video was shot before they were supposed to change their policy. Now, it seems like they partly changed their policy because they did let Mr. Tedessa in. Mm-hmm. So my feeling is that the issue of the sheriff's wanting to follow him can be discussed with 18012 when it goes back, because that video will be part of it. And then this one, I think this one we can close out because it's combined into the previous one, the issue of being followed. Wait a minute.
Except they're different. One is with the sheriff's department and one is with the building management.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so what are any ideas? Do we just send this back to with a reference to look at the video from the other file?
Oh, well, we could, since we're discussing this now, may we request that I see what you're saying. May we request that the video from the previous case be included
with this case?
Since it was included in the discussion and actually was the one that was it was the only one that was relevant to this discussion.
Correct. Can that be done, Cheryl? Do you know?
I think there's further to add, so I don't want you to get
Microphone.
That was a pilot program. We are no longer doing that.
Oh, so it's if
that was a pilot program. It's ended.
So, which
will not be following him, and he will not be entering with his dog off leash unless he follows a reasonable accommodation process.
Which is what?
Then he'll have to go through the city administrator's office.
Every time he comes here?
No, to engage in it, he can go through the mayor's office of disability. We're going to partner with the mayor's office of disability and go from there.
Okay.
And further training will be held. But that was a pilot program, and it was not successful. We discontinued it, and
why would you say it wasn't? Why would you say it wasn't successful?
Well, you saw he walked out, so he didn't want to participate in that.
Right.
Okay, well,
may I
that's
ask
fine.
one more question? So, hypothetically, if someone else walked in today with a dog off leash, requesting the similar accommodation, what would happen today?
Today, again, depending on business hours, we would again, call a supervisor. If the mayor's office of disability is available, which are regular business hours till 5 p.m., then they would contact them. Again, this training hasn't been rolled out. This is just a framework for the mayor's to partner with the mayor's office of disability on this. But again, it would be up to the watch commander.
So what would the person at the mayor's office of disability be expected to do? To come down and say, it's okay, let him in? Or what would happen at that point?
They can have the conversation, or they can speak with us about it. And again, that has to be worked out. We have to partner with them. But right now, there's a deputy city administrator's office that they could partner with on this particular case. Everything else is a case-by-case basis.
So I appreciate it. Sounds like you are trying to implement some new initiatives, but it sounds like you're not there yet. And so we're still responsible for this particular
I think so. I think
episode.
I mean, this has been going on for a long time. To have had a pilot program and scrapped it, and now working on new guidelines, where the mayor's office of disability is the office that initially refused to let the person in with his service dog.
Well, and this is more for the committee's edification. So the mayor's office on disability will only provide technical assistance to city departments. They won't
make a decision.
Make a determination.
Okay.
It'll only be like technical assistance.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to send this back to the full task force to have a discussion on whatever program is being implemented, the fact that the rights of the person with the disability, that it's only the person with the disability that has a say as to whether or not his or her service animal should be off leash or not. So I think this goes back.
Yeah. Would it be possible to request a representative who is going from the sheriff's department, who is involved in this new development of this new program, and perhaps by the time we have our meeting, they might be able to offer specific details? Does a program exist, or one is being developed at this time?
No, we're working to develop one. We've been engaged for months on this, and we've tried various ways to deal with this issue. But again, we take our guidance from subject matter experts, our legal advice, and city attorney's office, in conjunction with our partners in the city administrator's office, real estate division, and so we are just providing. We are just working with them. They are the subject matter experts.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I would like to. So my motion is to send this back to the full task force, so that we can have input into how these procedures happen. And I would like a member of the sheriff's department who is knowledgeable about this program, and a representative of the mayor's office of disability, because they get
That's a good idea.
because they get referred to every time we have a hearing, and they're never here. We have a second?
Second. Fiona can have the second.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we can call them in as, I guess, our subject matter experts, but yeah.
Is it possible to refer this for outside, like the U.S. Attorney's Office or Attorney General?
We have to, if we find it's willful, we're allowed to do that.
Okay.
But like the first one, we're sending back as willful.
Okay.
This one, we have to have some more discussion on.
Okay.
So we have any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's have a vote, please.
Chair Kanata?
Aye.
Chair Kanata, aye. Member LaHood?
Aye.
Member LaHood, aye. Member Hinsey?
Aye.
Member Hinsey, aye. The motion passes.
Okay, let's have the
Thank
next
you.
item, please. Oh, Mr. Tedeschi, Rosie looks like a sweetheart.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, she really does. Okay. Item number 9, file number 1, excuse me, file number 19052, complaint filed by Alex Koskinen against the Department of Public Health for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 6725 by failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and/or complete manner.
Okay, so Come on up, sir. And before we get started, I just want to say that this hearing will be different from all the other ones we've heard tonight, because all the other ones were compliance issues. This is a hearing for this committee to find jurisdiction over the matter and to collect all the facts. And then what this committee does is if we find jurisdiction and decide all the facts are here, we send this up to the full task force to hear it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So let's do 5 minutes here, Cheryl, please.
Yep. Go ahead.
Hello, committee. Alex Koskinen. I filed a information request, an immediate disclosure request back in May, on May 13th. I was asking for some email records that I believed would be very easy for the Department of Public Health to provide. They did not respond until after 7 p.m., I believe, on the following day, saying that they would be unable to provide those in that time frame. So, and they invoked a 14-day extension, I believe. I had also filed a regular disclosure request. They were both similar topics, but I broke them up because I felt that the emails would be easier to provide, and they could provide those first, and then the rest of the disclosure request information separately. It's now been almost 4 months, and they have provided the information. I believe they've provided all of it for the immediate disclosure request, but the regular disclosure request is still outstanding.
Do you have 2 separate complaints?
I sent in the complaint update that I sent, I believe, like 5-6 days ago. So it's if this needs to be a separate issue and I come back, I'm happy to do that. But I
they're
thought
both against the Department of Public Health. They're just for different issues.
It's for the same issue. It's just different information for different related information. One is emails and the other is other electronic records pertaining to the same issue. So for the regular disclosure request, I have not yet. So far, I've received a single record that is nowhere near covers all of the records that I was asking for. In the response provided by Public Health, that response indicates that there are at least 7 responsive records, but they've only provided 1 so far. I sent an email to the supervisor of records, the city attorney, and they have apparently been back and forth with Public Health trying to resolve this. They have not been very helpful. They've said that it's up to me to work it out with the department. It's not their role to help. The city attorney's office asked me, can you provide clarification? Are you asking for A or B? I said, I'm asking for A. And then the department responded later, we still don't understand what you're asking for. So I asked city attorney, I don't know, I believe I've clarified this in our many emails back and forth. I used the exact language that you used to ask what I was requesting. So can you help explain to Public Health? They again said, that's not my role. You need to work it out with the department. Basically, I'm just looking for the information that I asked for, and also to find out a little bit about what the requirements are for timelines. I mean, it's been almost 4 months. I thought that responses were due within, like, a 14-day extension was the max allowed. I understand if some of these records are difficult, but the level of effort displayed by the department just does not seem to be satisfactory when they've only provided a single record that is readily available, should be readily available to them.
Before you go, one quick question. The second request, not the immediate disclosure request, when was that filed?
The same day.
The same
on
day.
The 13th, yeah.
And you still haven't, you've gotten one piece of information?
Correct.
Okay, thanks. Okay, can we have a representative from the Department of Health, right? Come on up. Hang on, we'll give you 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Veronica V, and I'm representing the Department of Public Health. And in response to Alex's complaint, I wanted to highlight that our team at the Department of Public Health's Human Resources team, we have been working diligently to respond to his request. And again, he did mention that there were 2 requests. We kind of treated them similarly at the same time because they are in relation with each other. The first part was an email request, which actually took a lot of effort to kind of gather the documents and in the end kind of provide the responsive documents because it required a lot of redaction. Essentially, the email request, the public records request for emails was asking correspondence about a specific position or job announcement. And when our merit team was going through the emails, there were multiple personnel confidentiality data that needed to be redacted. And in conjunction to the second part of his request, which was asking for all DPH announcements, job announcements, we were looking at his request and we were unsure what he was asking for. So we did ask for clarification, and with the help of the city attorney's office, we were kind of back and forth. We never really had direct communication with Alex until today, or not, maybe last week. But once we, as the liaison, I had to carry that message back over to our HR team, and essentially our HR team had to consult with their city attorney representative, who is an expert when it comes to HR compliance issues. And one thing to note is that our merit team at Human Resources, they do have an additional civil service condition when it comes to compliance that kind of governs over the sunshine governance, in a sense where we are protecting employee information or personnel information. And so with that in mind, our team has been really diligent with communicating with the city attorney's office and making sure that they don't want to release any information that's like testing materials, or even test scores and other lists in that sense. And so right now we just today, Alex and I had communication and trying to clarify his request number 1, item number 1, which is important information in order for us to follow through with items 2, 3, and 4, because they are all in conjunction with each other. And we're just working that out right now. And today he did attempt to clarify with us. And now that we are looking it over, I also spoke with our HR merit team, and we understand that it looks like there's going to be about 1,000 different job announcements within the past 5 years that he's requesting for to see. And then also when it comes to distributing the different applicants between city employees versus non-city employees, that will be about 117,000 different job applicants or job applicants that we will have to sift through to see whether or not they are city employees or not city employees. And one of our main challenge would be that we at DPH are not able to access other city employees who are working outside of DPH. And that's one reason why we can't provide these records. And in addition to that, our system is not able to just export data in that sense. So it will be more of a manual research, a manual way of our HR team to kind of compile all that information together.
Okay. Any questions from anybody here? I mean, I'm thinking. I have a couple of we're talking 4 months, right? So that's a pretty long time to wait. So a couple of things. for the immediate disclosure request, there is no 14-day extension. An immediate disclosure request has to be answered within a day, telling the person, we've got this, and this is how we're going to fulfill it. If there's a lot of data, you can take up to 10 days, but then you don't wait until everything's gathered. If you can gather information on, iteratively and pass some information over, that's the way you should do it. It's called the rolling data. You just get it as you can and then give it to him. And then if it takes longer because it's really extensive, it takes longer, but at least you're providing information. For the second one that wasn't an immediate disclosure request, it's the same type of process. You don't wait until, you're talking of thousands and thousands of records. You don't wait until everything is gathered. As you're gathering it, if they need redaction, okay, they can be redacted, but they should be handed over as soon as, in batches, basically. All right? And then for redaction purposes, in order to redact something, the department has to provide the law for the redaction, whether it's a CP, California Public Records Act code or Sunshine Ordinance code, like that. Okay?
Yes, I have a question. You had suggested that some of the information that was requested is not under the purview of Department of Public Health. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you have you tried to assist Mr. Koskinen? Is that how? In getting to the right departments that would hold that information?
So we have not yet, because we are still in correspondence about how to clarify his second part of the request. That's not the immediate disclosure. And so his second part of the request has 4 different items. And right now we're still working out item number 1, in a sense, to get a better understanding of what he is asking for, because without information for item number 1, we will not be able to proceed with item number 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. Well, I am glad to hear that there is some back and forth and working together, but it does. I think your initial concern about the timeliness of the response still holds.
Yeah. Okay. So, sure. If you have one, come on up for another comment or whatever.
Sure. I think the timeliness is the main issue here.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as records being held by other departments, I don't believe that's true. I asked for all the information that the department had, and they must have had when they made hiring decisions. So yes, if they want to go in the labor system and check themselves, what did somebody do in a prior period from another department, they wouldn't be able to do that. But I'm asking for the information that was given to them or they did in their research, and they should have kept, and they should have. So I don't believe there's any information that I'm looking for that resides in any other departments. And as far as the immediate disclosure request, that one took about 5 weeks to complete after they did interpret it much more broadly than I had intended and sent more, but still, I believe we all use Outlook, and you search in for my name and one other keyword, hit enter, and all the records that pop up. That shouldn't take very long to produce. But I do appreciate Ms. Vian. She's been very, very professional and cordial. It's just the timeliness. I understand that she has to go back and forth and work with other people in her department, but I'm just looking to get the information that I asked for, so
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, so, it seems like we have jurisdiction right there.
Yeah.
The records are public, it's a city department.
Right.
It sounds like all the information is here,
Yeah.
so. Motions?
I make a motion to send this, that we have jurisdiction and that this should be heard by the full task force.
Second.
Okay, any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's vote.
Member LaHood?
Aye.
Member LaHood, aye. Member Hinsey?
Aye.
Member Hinsey, aye. Chair Canada?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Okay, next item.
Item number 10, adjournment.
All right, so moved.
Second.
Okay, we'll take that by acclamation.
Let's get
Thanks,
out of here.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Let's
very
get out of
much.
here. Good job.
Nice to see you, Mr. Smith.